right? Look at this verse, guys, from Jeremiah 6. Are they ashamed of their loathsome conduct? No, they have no shame at all. They don't even know how to blush. Just think about what Jeremiah is saying. Jeremiah is somewhere between 20 and 22 years old when God called him to be a prophet. And he's talking to the nation of Israel, to Jerusalem as the main city, before they're about to get taken captive. You can read in Lamentations and find out what happens afterwards, but he's explaining it. So this is very interesting. If you look at Israel versus America when it came to our founding, okay? How was Israel founded? How was he founded? How was Israel founded? How was Israel founded? Very specifically. How was Israel founded? Okay, so what happened was you had the 12 tribes of Israel that came about. Before the 12 tribes, they're basically children, right? Children of Jacob. One of them is called Joseph. What happens is there's a point where the other brothers are so hate Joseph so much that they actually, first they want to kill him. Then what happens is Judah feels bad and says, you know what, let's just throw him in a ditch, basically, in a hole. Then these Gentiles come by. These pagans come by in a caravan, and they say, let's take Joseph and sell him, give him to them, so we don't really kill him, because we'll feel too guilty. Okay, this is a picture of Jesus Christ. If you remember what happened, the Jewish nation turns over Jesus Christ to a pagan nation to Pontius Pilate and the Romans to kill him. Joseph goes into they sell him to Pharaoh. God speaks through Joseph in a Gentile culture, in a Gentile nation, and what happens to Joseph after he was in prison for 12 years? What happens? He, quote unquote, rises from the dead. It's a picture of Jesus Christ. He rises from the dead. He becomes the second in command in all of Egypt, and he brings blessings to first a Gentile nation, not the Jews. The Gentiles benefit. Romans chapters 9 through 11. Israel gets grafted out because of their apostasy. God starts bringing salvation to Gentiles. Here's Joseph. It's a beautiful picture. Then what happens when the sons come and they realize who he is? Zechariah 12:10, they shall look on him whom they have pierced. They shall mourn as a firstborn son. Remember, we talked about Zechariah, the future. When Jesus Christ returns a second time and they see him for who he really is, just like what happened with the other brothers, they mourn because they realize now who he is. Okay? So Israel is now in Egypt. The Pharaoh blesses them because of Joseph. They multiply like crazy. You're in team 3. They multiply like crazy. Then what happens? The Pharaoh dies. A new Pharaoh comes in. What does the new Pharaoh say?
He's afraid of how many there are. Too many Israelites.
Right. And what does he do to them? Puts them into bondage. They groan and cry out in Exodus chapter 3. God hears their groaning. Who does he send? Jesus Christ, right? He sends a deliverer. A deliverer leads them out of Egypt. Are they a nation yet? Heck no. They don't even know God's name. They don't know. They have no idea. So how was the nation of Israel founded? In the desert as they're traveling. Exodus chapter 20, the 10 Commandments. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. What happens is God introduces himself with the 10 Commandments. When he parts the Red Sea, he shows them he's real, and then he tells them, you shall have no other gods. So the Israelites then, from that point forward, they're under faith in God himself, who is their deliverer. And from there you start getting a breakout of all the tribes. Now pretty soon the nation becomes more powerful, and all he says, if you'll just listen to my voice. So far so good? That's how Israel's founded. So Jeremiah, in the book of Jeremiah, puts it this way. I remember, this is God speaking, I remember the devotion of your youth, how as a bride you loved me and followed me through the desert. Any pictures in your mind about bride? Does that bring anything to your mind as a Christian? Yes, bride and bridegroom, right? Here's America. How is America founded? Now, let me give you a hint. You've got the tyranny. Why did God send Moses? That's right, because they cried out. So you have Egypt, which is seen as harsh bondage and tyranny, but it's a picture of the world system. God sends his deliverer into the world to separate them for himself as his own special people, to come out of the world into him as their Lord and God and Savior. Does that sound familiar? It's very, Jesus Christ in the Old Testament is as easy to find as Jesus Christ in the New Testament. So how is America founded? Say it again?
Puritans came over for freedom.
Freedom from what?
From the state telling them what they had to believe.
From tyranny. Right? You've got England, King George, tyranny, being subjected and not allowed to have freedom, their rights taken away. They come over, and here's what Patrick Henry said. It cannot be emphasized too strongly or too often, this great nation was founded not by religionists, but by Christians, not on religions, but on the gospel of Jesus Christ. Here's Israel being founded. Here's America being founded. You guys tracking with me so far? Okay. Have things changed?
I love everything you're talking about. One little piece that I don't know that everybody knows, so I'll mention it, was when they first left England, they went to Holland, right?
Yeah, okay.
Simply, they got away from the king and his rules, but then they found out, well, the culture, the people of Holland have different ways of doing things, and our
Right.
kids are becoming like the people
Right.
around us.
Right.
So that's when they went to
Right.
America.
Right. But the point here we're making is, how is America founded? Even in Holland, it's not the same. It's America. We're founded on biblical truth. And we're founded on Jesus Christ. And we're not teaching this, nobody knows. So I'm showing you Israel versus America. Now, what happened to Israel? Right? You've defiled the land with your prostitution and your wickedness. This is just one verse. Have you not just called me my father, my friend from my youth? Will you always be angry? This is how you talk, but you do all the evil you can. So you'll hear politicians, everybody talking about God. You'll hear people talking about rights. Do you think God doesn't understand what's going on? He knows. He's calling them out with Jeremiah that you talk to me as if I'm your father. You don't have my value system at all. You don't live anything like when I led you out of Egypt. And I taught you what it means to be my bride, and I your father and your bridegroom. So far, so good? Here's Barack Obama in 2015 at the National Prayer Breakfast. We need to reject the idea that somehow we alone are in possession of the truth. All right? This is 2015. Nobody's paying attention. Here we are 7 years later. We continually feed, our country secular-wise continually feeds on this, that truth can be set by yourself. We don't need to act as if there's an absolute truth. So this is where we're at.